What's up, everyone? Welcome to DBAP chat, right? So when I started this journey, it was important to me to find people that were, as David Goggins puts it, uncommon amongst uncommon people. Now, I say it often, anybody can look good naked, right? So losing fat and all that is great. And I hope that everyone is looking to be as fit as possible. But I like having conversations with people that are not just your normal, just go to the gym and exercise folks, right? I like finding people that are doing amazing things, that live a drastic lifestyle like I do. I'm the king of making terrible decisions. So I like people that maybe have the same type of judgment that I do. And I started my Twitter journey, really getting serious about it back in February, and I ended up with a pretty interesting cast of characters that I started associating with, that were obviously into doing things way different than the norm. And that's when I came across this guy, right? And I may say kid because he is young enough to be my son. No offense, DT, but this guy at his young age, as far as years go, this guy's already done some absolutely amazing things. Want to talk to him about all that. He is currently preparing for Atlantic City 70.3 and Ironman Florida in November. Now, there's a lot of people do those races, okay? But this guy also this year has also done a strongman competition. So this isn't just the normal skinny runner guy that decides he wants to start swimming and riding a bike, guys. This guy is a completely different animal, completely different beast. And I have the pleasure of introducing you to Adam Sikora of New Jersey. Adam, what's up, baby?
What's up, boy? Thanks for having me on the show. Thank you for the kind introduction. But like you said, I'm training for 70.3 in Atlantic City, as well as Ironman Florida. And then I got a 2.4 mile swim down in Cape May, New Jersey on 4th of July weekend. So I'm training for that. But like you said, I just got done coming off 4 years of strongman training. You know, I had a background in powerlifting, strongman, and I got convinced into doing an Ironman race. So now, you know, we're here talking on the show.
Yeah. Well, dudes, before we get into all that, man, I've got a question that I've been wondering about. I mean, this is important to me, okay? How is the fucking unicycle going?
Bro, it's so hard. I've had it for not even a week yet, and I maybe have gotten 4 feet on it without tipping over. So the thing with it is you got to have something to balance on. So what I do is I get 2 trash cans, and I get 7 on it. I'm sitting there, and I just try to pedal as fast as I can. So it's all momentum. So once you stop pedaling, you're going to fall over. You got to keep on going and going and going. So I just pedal as fast as I can. I get maybe 2 or 3 pedals in. And the key is you have to bail forward. You can't fall backwards or crack your head open because it's very weird with the balance of it. They got to bail forward. So I've just been learning how to bail on it. My real focus right now is learning how to fall the right way because I don't want to fall the wrong way, fuck myself up, and have to drop out of any of my races. You know, I don't want to have to drop out of the races for falling off a unicycle. That would be the worst story ever. So, you know, I gotta be smart with it so I don't crack my head open or nothing like that. But yeah, dude, it's hard, very hard. And for me, it's hard to balance. I can barely balance on 1 foot without falling over, let alone a unicycle now. So
yeah, man. Tough. So, dude, I mean, the president of the United States just busted his ass on a normal bicycle. So, bro, hey, there's a lot that goes into that. I can only imagine. So tell me a little bit about how the transition's going. And I know you're not completely transitioning. I mean, I know strength training is still, I mean, right now, even in prep, just like, I mean, strength training is a huge part of it. But tell me how the transition's going from being primarily a strength athlete to taking on what many people consider the hardest one-day endurance event, on earth, right? The Ironman triathlon. Tell me a little about that.
So it's honestly been rough. The first few months were very, very hard. But I hired Ryan Dreyer as my coach. Awesome guy, smart guy, knows what he's doing. He's kind of helped me kind of ramp things up. We got a really, really good plan going forward with just, taking care of me, making sure I'm doing the right things for, coming from strength to endurance. It's a very big change in, energy systems you use when you train, just the style of training. And also I'm finding out a lot is the time I'm training is going to be a lot more time commitment than it is just for strength training. Strength training you can get by with, 1-2 hours in the gym. But like I'm training 15, 20 hours now almost, a week with the endurance training, which I like a lot, but it's just trying to find different times for that. getting new time on my feet, but I'm absolutely loving it now. I was having a little bit of a problem with in the beginning because I was trying to do both at a high level. And I was like, fuck, why am I not, still able to squat in the 500-600 pound range when I'm, when I'm biking for 2-3 hours and going out to run afterwards. Like I was kind of in my own head, I was being stupid, but I was trying to do both at a high level. Now it's just, I'm focusing all on my endurance stuff. And then when I'm in the gym right now, I'm still going hard, but I'm not really beating myself up if I'm not hitting the numbers that I'm used to hitting. I'm really, I'm being smart and saying, wow, I'm training for an endurance race, a triathlon. Like I shouldn't be hitting these crazy numbers when I'm lifting. Like I shouldn't be mad at myself for doing that. But I've been liking it a ton. My body's adapting pretty well. I feel a lot healthier. In Strongman, I had a lot of back, knee, hip, ankle, pretty much everything issue. For 3-4 years, I was throwing around weight that just was crushing me for years and years and years. And I had a laundry list of problems. Like my back was messed up, my knees were messed up, my elbows were having problems, my shoulders were having problems. And now I'm taking a step back from the Strongman stuff and adding in this endurance training. Like my body feels great. And I know when I go back to Strongman, because I'm coming back to Strongman next year, I'm going to fucking kill it. My body's going to feel a lot better. So this is a nice little break to give my body, kind of give it a little bit of a rest and get into different modes of training. And it's going to help me a ton going forward with my strength training. Because, the biggest thing in Strongman, in my opinion, is you got to have a motor. Those days are long. And we learned that the hard way a few times. You got competition starting at 8, 9 in the morning. You're not doing your last event till like 6 at night. That's like a 8, 9, 10 hour day of lifting. And you got to be on point. You got to hit everything, execute the right way. So being able to have a motor is huge in Strongman. I know this is going to carry right over to, to my Strongman training next year when I come back to it. So I'm going to take a little bit of time off after the Ironman, get my body back in the right shape. And I'm going to keep, swimming, biking, and running in my training and just, do crazy stuff with Strongman and see how that goes.
Yeah, man, that sounds really familiar to me. Yeah, so I have a background in powerlifting, and it's funny. That was a big part. So I make no secret. At the end of 2013, early 2014, I walked away from all fitness, and a big part of that was because I had chronic pain to the point to where everything in my life was a physical challenge. I had micro fractures in my forearms from bench pressing. To give you an idea. Yeah, I mean, knees, back, hips, neck, you name it, I had the pain in it, the joints, I mean, the shoulders, especially the shoulders, right? And it's when I transitioned over, and then as I've got back into heavy strength training again, everything just seems better. And I think that says a lot about, just a total approach to fitness, right? And I agree 100%. Having a motor makes everything better. But my opinion, what you're going to get mostly from Ironman, yeah, dude. Yeah, you get lean, you get this endurance, you just feel healthier, your heart and your lungs feel better. But dude, all the benefits are right here, right? So I think your biggest gains. I mean, listen, man. When you hear Mike Riley, if he does your race, say Adam Sikora, you are an Ironman, man.
I got shivers thinking about it.
Yeah, it changes a lot of things. So tell me this, swimming, biking, running. Well, before we get into that, I have something here. I was going to wear it, but this shirt's a little tight on me. This is my ex-wife's swim team coat or shirt, right?
That's crazy how we're connected that way. No idea who you were, found you on Twitter, and then you're related to somehow to my college in the middle of South Jersey, middle of nowhere that I go to. Crazy.
Yeah, she's. I was chatting with her a little bit earlier, and I told her, I was like, "Hey, I'm this guy I'm about to chat with on Zoom. I'm gonna record it." He's on. I told her before, and she's like, "Oh, that's so cool." So
I love it.
Speaking of swimming at Rowan, of the 3 disciplines in Ironman, so people don't know, an Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and a marathon, 26.2 miles. He's doing a half first, which is exactly half those distances. Adam, tell me, man, how is the swimming pool going?
Bro, I actually love swimming. I think swimming is my favorite of the 3 at this point. I enjoy it. Other than yesterday, I was swimming and somebody dropped a dookie in the pool right next to me. They had a kids swim class right next to me. And I was swimming, when you're swimming, you get in the zone, you kind of just turn your brain off. All of a sudden, I feel somebody hit the back of my head with the pool skimmer. Like, hey, somebody pooped in the pool right here. You got to get out. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I love swimming. It's fun. I just like it because you can't cheat swimming or biking or running. Like endurance racing, you can't just bullshit of prep and then just hop into it. You got to really put the work in. And swimming is really, really rewarding. Like when I first started swimming, obviously I'm probably not the best aerodynamic or I stink when I go in the pool. I'm 240, 250 pounds in now, so it's hard to keep myself up. But I like it a lot. Just learning how to swim the right way, learning how to breathe the right way. And at some point, it's almost even like meditative for me. I kind of just turn my brain off, get into a groove, and just swim. And I really like it a ton. It's fun for me. And just once you kind of get past that initial like fatigue in the beginning, you just go. Yeah, like once you get your heart rate down a little bit, and you kind of settle into it. I love it. Just get into a nice little rhythm, and then you're going. So I just found a couple of lakes around here. I'm going to start open water swimming this week. I have a swim in the ocean in like 2.5 weeks. So I got to get ready for that. Down in Cape May, it's 2.4 miles. So it'll be a good test for the Ironman. It's the same exact distance for the Ironman swim. So I'm excited for that a lot. And it's going to be, this swim will probably be harder than our Ironman swim because this swim is a straight 2.4 miles. The one in Florida is split up. So you got to swim around a pier and then hop out, run across the beach, swim around the pier again. So this is probably going to be a little bit harder than the swim in Florida. See how it goes. So I'm excited for that to kind of test myself. But I love swimming. I've always really liked swimming. I've always liked the water. When I was a little kid, I was in the swim team. Like when I was, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, little chubby Adam. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just in the pool swimming. I've always liked the water. I've always liked swimming. And now I'm here swimming for an Ironman. So it's, nice little full circle.
Yeah, man, that's a good takeaway right there. That's what I felt like was the beauty in doing Ironman was, think about this right here, man. As little kids, we run effortlessly, right? You go out to a playground, you watch little kids run, and there's no work there, right? For adults to run, you read the platitude accounts. Running sucks, blah, blah. You don't have to run. Why wouldn't you want to run, right? Same thing with a bicycle. Man, for 15 years of my life, give or take, that was my transportation, right?
I love biking. Especially now, dude, I'm saving so much money on gas. I'm riding my bike everywhere. I ride to the grocery store. I ride to the gym. The only place I don't ride right now is work because I can't show up with sweaty mess and bartend. So other than that, I love biking.
Yeah. And then the pool, man. Think about the summers, dude, when you used to go to the pools and when they blew that whistle, everyone out, you were like devastated, right? You're like, can we stay? Can we stay? So man, I think that's the beauty in it. And I can totally relate to what you said about the meditative state of swimming because, brother, I hadn't swum a lap in 25 years and I decided, right? And fortunately, my ex-wife at home was a swim coach, right? So she would give me advice, but she had a shattered leg at that point, so she couldn't even come to the pool. So I basically taught myself how to swim off of YouTube and Instagram, right? But I got to a point to where, like you said, it was very meditative for me. And somewhere along the line, it was crazy. And that's what I try to tell people that they're getting into it. And they're like, dude, this is fucking hard. And I'm like, listen, get past that panic, relax, and you go into the zone like nothing else, bro. I've never, dude, people know the distances I run. I've never hit that zone running.
Never.
I love the bicycle.
Runner's high? Oh, runner's high. That's bullshit. I never hit that before.
Man, I run 100, brother. Never got it. But on swim, there is something about it, man. And it's crazy how it's almost, you obviously don't close your eyes, but it's just like you blink and you're like, man, I've been in this pool for an hour. And you get out, and that's the only exercise that I can do late in the evening and just go to bed. Right?
Oh, I feel myself, if I do it late at night, like anything else off high heart rate, I'll be high wired the rest of the day. But if I swim later at night, I feel myself getting hungry, as I'm swimming. I feel I'm wanting food. And then also, I could take a nap or I can go right to sleep right after that. I love swimming, even and then outdoor swimming. I go to a gym near me as an outdoor pool. Yeah. It's so much fun. I go out there, swim a few laps and just sit in the lounge chair and hang out in the sun for a little bit. And that's such a nice day. I'd much rather do that than, sit inside or do whatever all day. So I love swimming a lot. And I think a lot of people, when they try to start swimming, I have a couple of friends who've been talking shit, I could beat you in a race or swimming or whatever. I'm like, look, I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to hop in the pool, try and swim as fast as you can, tire yourself out. The thing with swimming is, and the thing I'm running with endurance sports, which is a big switch from, strength sports, is I call it controlled rage and controlled violence, really, really quick, explosive, 1, 2, 3 reps, whatever you got to do, controlled reps right there. But endurance training is, you really have to be smarter with your energy expenditure. You can't really go, you can't go 110% for the whole entire race. You're gonna shit yourself out. You got to sit at that 70, 80% and kind of be able to, hold that pace for a while. That's going to get you a lot farther and be able to finish that race a lot better. Especially with swimming, I'm learning that I can't really, go 110% and sprint on my swim. I'm going to die after, 100 meters. But, if I'm doing 2,500 meters, I'm not taking my time, but I'm getting a nice, good pace. I'm going to hold that for a while. And I like that training a lot better than, going crazy or doing sprints for, forever. So I like it a lot more.
Yeah, so it's funny, and that's one thing I have to beat people into their heads, right? You can feel like you're putting the fuck down on a swim, and you can also go like, okay, I'm just kind of cruising, and the difference in speed there is not drastic.
No, okay? Not at all.
You're just wasting a bunch of fucking energy is all you're doing, right? And the big thing about Ironman especially is it's not how fast you can go, it's how long can you go without slowing down, right? Exactly. So yeah, that's a big switch for most people because, like you, my thing was, and even the way I trained, right, was like, okay, I got to pick this motherfucker up and I got to get amped up out of my head, or I'm gonna, let me see how many times I can bench press 225, right? So worst case, I'm sitting there for fucking a minute training, doing
not even.
If you're, a good first time Ironman. A really, really good first time Ironman is 12 to 14 hours, or right, whatever. Yeah. Listen, and then, and many people go well up and a little closer to the 17-hour limit, right? That's a long fucking day, no matter what you're doing.
No matter what you're doing. That's a long day sitting in an office working. Nevertheless, doing a full Ironman race. So I'm shooting for anywhere between 14 to 15 and a half hours, see how the day goes.
Yeah.
We got a really good squad doing it. So if I beat one of them in it, I'm gonna talk so much shit. They're gonna block me on Twitter. I feel like I'm gonna talk so much trash if any of them beat me, or if I beat any of them.
Yeah. Dude, I've got that crew doing.
You guys got a squad going down to Waco.
Yeah. So the good news for them is I'm racing the day before. So. If God forbid, after I run a full Ironman the day before, I beat one of those motherfuckers in 70.3, right? Listen, normally if we're clean and fresh, right, and I beat you, then whatever, I expect to, right?
Yeah.
70.3 is like my wheelhouse. I can go all out in that distance. I've never even raced in a 70.3, but I feel really, really, really fucking good that I can go out and put down an hour 25 run and maybe a 2:15 bike, right? And whatever on the swim, I don't give a fuck, right? But so I expect that. Dude, on that day, if I beat one of those guys, dude, they're just gonna have to fucking block. They're gonna have to
They'll never hear the end of it.
If I beat one, I will smoke a Marlboro at the finish line, because now apparently I'm now the nexus of fucking Marlboro and fitness Twitter. Right. And let me state this for the record. I do not smoke. I did that on one fucking video. And now everyone thinks that
everybody's got you.
Yeah, dude. Well,
look, I'll smoke a cigar. Cigars are great. I love me a cigar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. But that was the first Marlboro I've ever smoked in my entire life. Right. Then
you got to smoke one crossing the finish line. You got to do it.
I don't know if they'll. You know what? It's funny. I have to go through the rules. I don't know if Marlboros are outlawed. They fucking should be.
It's not in the rule book. You got to check.
Well, dude, I can tell you this right here, and I've told the story before on the podcast, on a different podcast. There was a guy, man, on my first Ironman, and we got to the halfway mark of the run, and on a full Ironman, you got what's called a special needs bag at the halfway marks on the run and the bike, where you put shit in like, emergency food. I put socks in mine. I think I may have even had a different pair of shoes or something. I had a lot, so I had a pullover shirt just in case it got cold. And that probably saved me because the temperature dropped a lot in Arizona when the sun went down. But anyway, I had Oreos, right? I had all the shit I was going to hand down on, right? And I get there, and this one guy we get to the aid station before, right? He gets like 3 fucking Cokes. And I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, let me get the cans. And I'm like, dude, because they have Coke on the course for the glucose, right? Yeah. So we get to the bag. He gets his bag out, dude. This guy pulls out a fucking Camelback thermos, bro. puts the Coke in it, reaches down and pulls a fucking bottle of Crown out. Like
No.
Crown Reserve. Fucking pours it into this thing. Dude, this is a stud. Here. Pours this fucking Crown into this damn, in his Camelback, reaches back and knocks one down, looks at me and just fucking offers it up to me. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. He said this was his 10th Ironman. He'd always heard about people doing that. And he said, you know, he's like, you know what? He never did it. Never wanted it. He's like, you know what? Fuck it, man. It's my 10th.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've seen that at Strongman shows before. Like there was the Strongman show me and Donatelli just did up in Boston. A couple older guys. This dude was a beast. He was in his 60s probably. He was drinking the whole entire time. He put down a whole bottle of Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing this? But he was lifting like, 200-pound stones. He's 60 years old, ripping the stones up, drunk. I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, there was I've been at powerlifting meets before, man, where the night before, dude, the guys at the hotel, I'm like, this motherfucker's peace. I was like, hey, you're competing tomorrow? They're like, fuck yeah, and they come in there and kill it, right? So
I don't know how they do that. They're built different.
But you know what though, dude? All shit aside, man, go out in Panama City that week leading up. You'll see plenty of people racing. They'll be out there getting bombed, right? So it's a different. All those sports have something in common, right? They're just they're not just you can't. You said it earlier. You can't just kind of cardio your ass into an Ironman, right? Yeah. And I see a lot of people training, and everybody thinks that, like, dude, I'm just a different beast. I'm not me, but they think of themselves like, I can do this. Bro, I say this all the time. The only way through it is fucking through it, right? Yeah. And a 140.6 miles will expose a fucking lot about yourself, right? And man, so you can't do a full Ironman in training, right? So there's a lot of shit happens in the body when you're moving for 140.6 miles. So yeah. I mean, there's got to be some long ass days. The thing I did that absolutely fucking made the day seem much easier for me was, man, I would go out and just ride my bike for fucking 10 hours, right? So I was used to at least being out on the bike for 10, 12 hours, right? Yeah. Now there's no fucking coach in the world will tell you to do that. It was not the like optimal strategy by any fucking point, but it helped me psychologically. I'm like, dude, listen, I know I can survive for 12 hours in Texas heat. Moderate temperatures in Arizona aren't going to be a big deal to me. And they weren't, right? But I tell you, it's funny because I know a lot of people that train for endurance and they think they can get away with 5-6 hours a week. You can in most sports.
Some sports, yeah.
But Ironman, again, listen, hey, and if people fucking do it, there are some freaks out there, bro. There are. Yeah. But not as many people are freaks that think they're freaks.
No, okay? I've been telling people a lot, like, it's going to suck. Obviously, it's like people are like, oh, like, you're doing it for fun. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be doing it for fun, but like, it's going to suck. It's going to be the hardest thing I ever do so far. And the biggest thing for me is, all the training leading up there. That's the hard part. The training leading up to it, we started prep for this the day after I got home from, my strongman competition. And even before that, I was swimming and biking and doing a little bit of running, not a ton. But I did a sprint triathlon back in September. So I did that with Matt Izzo. And then went into strongman prep and then went back into triathlon prep. I've been telling people, look, the 8, 9, 10 months of training for this is the hard part. That day, I already know it's going to be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours of hell. And it's going to be me telling myself not to stop. That's all it is. It's me for 12 hours, 18 hours, however long it's going to fucking take me. It's just going to be me and my brain telling me, don't stop, you pussy. Like, keep on going. Don't fucking stop. And I told people, look, I don't care how long it takes me. I'll break both my legs. I'll crawl across the finish line if I have to. I don't care if they shut down the race. I don't care if it's the next day. It takes me 40 hours to crawl across 140 miles. I'm crossing that finish line if it counts or not. I'm doing it for me. And the medal's pretty cool. You get a tattoo or whatever. Like, I'm doing this to, like, bulletproof me. And I'm excited to do it. And we got a squad doing it with me. So it's going to be really, really fun to, really test the waters with these guys. These guys I've been best friends with for, 4, 5, 6 years now. We've been doing a ton of different things training-wise. We've done strongman shows together. And now we're doing the Ironman race together. So it's going to be really cool to kind of push each other. And, we've done a lot of hard things together. This is going to be, the peak of that. So I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, man, that was something too. That inspired me too to get I was really new. I mean, I've been on Twitter for years, but I never did Twitter, right? I got argued about politics and fucking football. Yeah. But then I started taking it serious in February. And then I kind of like, I mean, my thing wasn't anywhere near as coordinated as your guys was. And guys, I didn't even know. I just sent them the fucking registration link. And then Caleb signed up.
No,
like,
he's a
dude,
beast.
I sent that motherfucker the link and he signed up. And I thought, did this really just happen? Right. And then I got and Daniel and then all these other I got like 15 people now. And then I got some guy just messaged me the other day with a DBAP tattoo. I'm like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen, but I love it.
I love it.
You know, it's funny you say you mentioned that, like the 8 or 9 months leading up to it. And this is something that, and this occurred to me, right? So a lot of people point out, like, well, dude, like 2,000 people start an Ironman race. And then, like, I don't know what the numbers are, but I think it's somewhere around 65 to 75% finish. Okay. Now let's say that 2,000, right? So we're talking, you know, what, 30 or 1,300 to 1,500 people finish, right? Here's the thing that people miss though. They allow about 3,000 signups. I mean, dude, so you got to think about that. Just because you sign up doesn't give you a 65 to 70% chance of finishing that race. I don't know the numbers on finishing. I may be fucking way off.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, more than half of those people have already done it once, right? I mean, I want to say it's like a 60% or 40% of first timers. And I'm sure that changes race to race. But think about this, man. If 3,000 or 3,200 people sign up and 2,000 people show, that means there's a giant fucking washout rate of getting from the day I say, you know what, I'm going to do this, to getting to the starting line, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny, and I've known it, dude. I've been involved in this sport now for just basically 4 years, right? And I don't know how many people I've known that started training and then they come up with, my heart's not in it. I'm burned out. I've got other stuff I want to focus. Dude, it takes a special fucking mindset to put your head down for 8 to 9 months. And man, again, when you're lifting weights, you get stronger. I mean, especially initially, right? You get fucking 10% better in a week. And it's not uncommon, right? I mean, you get 10% better in a day in some cases,
Yeah.
right? I mean, initially, right? Dude, endurance, again, you got to just fucking do the work.
Yeah.
Right. And there's no, and yeah, I mean, my thing was I went from like barely been able to run a mile, and one day I ran fucking 13 or whatever. I mean, I don't know where, right? And whatever, I don't know what caused that, but that's not the fucking norm, right? It was stupid, is what it was. But it's like I said, the only way through it is through it. And again, yeah, dude, you're going to get fucking tired. You're going to get bored. You're going to get burned out. But there's a lot to the ability to focus to the point to where you can watch grass grow. Does exactly what you said. It will fucking iron plate. It will make your mind completely bulletproof. And there's a lot of people who are otherwise strong that when they get in the repetitive fucking days of Ironman training and the commitment that is required, I mean, dude, worst case, you're asked to train 8 to 10 hours a week. And most people are doing like me and you, a lot of people are, dude. I mean, I listen, I'm not a professional by any fucking stretch. Will I ever be a professional athlete? But I mean, when you start doing something 12 to 20 hours a week and not getting paid for it, man, that takes a little fucking.
You're paying to do it.
Yeah,
you're paying to do it. People are like, "Oh, you're getting paid to do this? Like this? Like you better be getting something out of it." I'm like, like I'm paying to do this. Like all in the brain, and like they don't understand it. And it's funny just kind of explain it to family and friends, and like they get it, but like they don't get it. Like they're like, "Oh, that's cool." Like you're running a triathlon. So people are like, "Oh, you're doing a Spartan race." I'm like, no, like it's a little bit more than a Spartan race. But like they're like, they love it. They think it's awesome. Like they don't really get like what we're really doing. Like they don't understand like what it takes to complete an Ironman. They're like, oh, you're running a triathlon in November. But I'm like, no, like I'm training daily now. Like almost every single day I'm doing something endurance based. And I went from, a strongman, like I would bitch if I had to like run a mile. I would hate I remember when I first started training with Ryan Dreyer. Like I could barely even run like 2 miles without being dead. And now it's like that's easy for me now. It's cool to see that kind of growth like over time and kind of proving some people wrong who are like saying, oh, like cardio is going to ruin your strength. Oh, cardio is going to ruin this, ruin that. Like, dude, like the same motherfuckers who were saying that, I bench more than what they can squat still. and I can still outrun them. Like, they keep on saying that stuff, and it's like I'm waiting for my strength to go down, like, to where you are. Like, come on. Like, it's just like a different mindset when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, it's funny too, man. Again, that's you see me making the fun all the time. Like, let me go out here and kill these gains. Let me run,
Yeah.
right? But it's and if people only understood that cardiovascular, the ability to recover between sets goes through the roof, right?
My workouts are like half the time now. I can get the same exact lifts done in just about half the time, and like I feel great. Like I'm not pushing the heaviest numbers I ever have.
Sure.
But like I'm still probably within 10% of the strongest I've ever been. Yeah. And I'm, 30, 40 pounds lower, and I'm still trying to lose another, I'm probably going to be around 225, 230 when I run this race. Yeah. If I got another 25, 30 pounds to lose, I'll still probably be, pretty strong with all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, don't buy into the hype. And when you first started talking, you said something like, I mean, you can't, I mean, we don't have to have an all or nothing mindset. There's nothing wrong with changing your focus for, a somewhat extended period of time. And then you can go back into like general fitness, right? You can go back into, for this month, I'm going to lift heavy and kind of half-ass the cardio, and then vice versa. And this, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to have all or nothing. Right. Yeah. And to think that running, the most natural thing that we do as humans, the most natural exercise, to think that hurts fucking strength gains or muscle gains is the most asinine thing in the world. And they'll always go to fucking marathon runners, right? Well, there's a reason those guys gravitated toward running marathons, right? Yeah. But man, I believe in the hybrid athlete approach, man. I like to know that, like, dude, I can go right now. One of my buddies could show up and say, let's go fucking deadlift. And I'm probably going to bury his ass by fucking 200 pounds. Or one of my running buddies come over here and I'm going to make them I'm going to make their lungs bleed if they want to run. Right. So there's a lot goes into that. And I am 100% okay with not painting myself into a fucking corner of being a strongman bodybuilder, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Powerlifter or being an Ironman, because dude, I'm 6 foot right now. I think I'm like 215. I'm not as far as fucking Ironman guys go. I'm like, dude, I look like fucking Thor, right? Your ass is going to be like the Incredible Hulk out there. So,
bro, I'm trying to find stuff that fits me, like any triathlon suits. I just got a triathlon suit. My wetsuit fit, thank God. But like, they just don't make stuff built for, guys our size. Like, there's bike seats, bro. It's like this big. Yeah, I'm a big guy. Putting that, you sit on that for 6, 7, 8 hours. That sucks. But it's part of the sport and it's fun. Like I'm just, I'm meeting a lot of really cool people through this sport. Yeah. And especially on Twitter, just meeting some awesome people through this and just kind of connecting. And just really what I'm trying to do is just show people it's possible to, be able to do both in some capacity. You're not going to be the best at both, but just do both, and it'll be a lot better for you health wise than it will be, doing all or nothing. Because I say this all the time to people. Endurance people, they need strength training, but also the other side, strength training guys, they need some sort of endurance training, whether that's either walking. You don't have to run right off the bat. You can run, jog, you can bike. I tell people all the time, biking is a great workout for your legs. People don't understand how good cycling can be for your quads and hamstrings. I get a pump in my legs every time I'm on the bike. My legs are pumped. And people don't realize, like, that's just extra work for your legs. You can do whenever you want. It's just fun. Get outside in nature and just bike for a little bit. You don't got to be doing a race. You're not going to go crazy. But guys who, are strength only and refuse to do cardio, like, they can't even walk up a flight of stairs without getting out of breath. And it's like, you can do so much more. You can feel so much better. And you're going to lift a lot more if you do some sort of cardiovascular work. And it's a lot healthier for you too.
Yeah, man. I fell in love with the bicycle, right? I think if I could only do one thing, and dude, I mean anything from here on, right, is run, swim, lift, deadlift, squat, whatever, bro. My shirt says bikeaholic. Yeah, man, I fell in love with a bicycle, and right now I'm not cycling as much as normal. I'm kind of doing a low volume. I'm going to do 2 hours in a minute, but we're done. But yeah, man, I love the bike, and there's a lot, man, getting out there and letting that fucking wind hit you. I mean, aside from worrying about getting hit by a car, but when you get out in the country here in North Texas, man, there are few better experiences. And I know this right here, and I've had people tell me this right here. When I get off the bike, I am I'm just different, man. I mean, I don't give a fuck about anything. I'm just like happy. I'm laughing. I'm dirty and shit, right? Because you get road dirt and everything's sweaty. But man, that feeling, that
You feel awesome.
yeah,
You just
it's
feel
funny.
like you can do anything. It's just a great
Yeah,
feeling.
I think it just makes you a better fucking person, man.
Yeah. It's so much fun. I like it. It's just like, nothing crazy. Go on this bike for a few hours. The other day I was bored. I was hanging out. I didn't have work. I was like, you know what? Let me just go bike for an hour. And like back in the day, that would have killed me. I would have been dead for the rest of the day if I went on bike for over an hour. Now it's just something I do when I'm bored and it's fun. Like I get outside, get some fresh air, and like it's awesome. It just like doing this type of fitness is going to open up so many more doors just so like different experience with this. Like I was talking with Mike Donatelli when we were out in Arizona one day, and he was saying how like him and his dad went hiking along the Grand Canyon, and they found some really, really cool spots that were, a little bit tougher to get to. And we were talking, and he was saying how, a big why, we all have like our why, like why we do things, why we train people and whatever. And he was saying a big why for him now is like, look, like if we weren't in shape, me and my dad would not have been able to experience that together, hike different places, get to different spots. Like being in shape opens up so many more doors for you just as experience, you just experience life and experience everything. You can get to a lot cooler places. You can do a lot more things and just experience life and be a lot happier. Just like the more healthy and fit you are. So like this is just opening a lot more doors for me, just as far as, obviously I've been fit before, but just like getting into this triathlon stuff, being able to walk, run, or bike wherever I want. It should, open up a lot more doors, especially as I get more out west and explore more out west. Just being able just to see more things and do more things is awesome.
Yeah, man, Michael's a freak in himself.
No, dude, he's the man. I love it. One of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, it's watching him do that flag, the human flag, and I mean, he's not a little guy by any stretch either. And he's got like, dude, it looks like he's got freaking 8 like coconuts on his stomach.
I've been telling people, there's all those like Greek statue Twitter accounts, all those anonymous people. I tell
use
people all
fucking
the time,
Donatelli, man. Use him.
Mike Donatelli is the only Greek statue I'll listen to on Twitter ever. He's the best Greek statue, and he actually looks like one. None of these guys look like the guy they post. But like going back to stuff with him, me and him did that Strongman competition in February, and that guy saved my life. We were dying together. Both of us had to cut a significant amount of weight. We were dying in the sauna together. We were dying in the hot tub together. We were dying in the drive to the weigh-in station together. I was curled up in my passenger seat, spitting into a bottle with 2 jackets on with the heat on, and he was driving my little Honda Civic through Boston trying to get us to this weigh-in. I thought I was going to die. But he saved my life, and we crushed that weight cut, and then we did well at the competition. So it was a really fun weekend. That was just the start of our year of, doing hard things. We didn't even know we were doing an Ironman competition then, I don't think. I know, we did.
No, you
kind
did,
of decided like the week before. So we kind of knew we were doing one, and we were like, man, this is fucking hard doing this weight cut. And we're like, man, we're going to do an Ironman race at the end of the year. Like, this is going to be a great year. So that was a great weekend. We both died. That was probably the hardest thing I've done in my life so far. And now I'm doing the Ironman in November. So that's going to be another, second hardest thing I do.
Yeah, man. So that's pretty crazy. You guys doing all this hard stuff. And I call it like, I got it from Jesse Itzler, building your life resume, right? Now, and here's the thing, man. And I've been hard on people that are younger, right? Well, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and I'm talking more about life coaching, right? Like, dude, hold on a minute. How are you going to tell me how to fucking have a perfect marriage, be a perfect father when you don't have children, never been married, right? Yeah. But you're a little different, okay, as far as a life resume, doing these hard things. Because you weren't always, and everybody's like, well, I hit puberty and this and this and this. You were not always this fucking insane monster animal, man. Take me back to, let's say, 15-year-old Adam Sikora. Tell me about your beginnings there, man.
Oh, man. So
how you got to the skinny kid with a big head to this fucking gorilla that I see.
So back in the day, I was always an athlete growing up. I played baseball, I played football, I wrestled a little bit. But I was always pretty heavy, always my entire life. That's always been a problem of mine, is just my weight being a little bit heavy. Like I remember being, 10, 11, 12, and like I couldn't even play on like some of the football teams because I was too heavy to play on them. So I had to go up in age, playing against kids who are a lot older than me just because I was heavier. So like that always sucked. And just like it was just a relationship with food. I guess, sometimes when you're younger, it's just, parents give you whatever you want to eat. And it's just, I just had a bad relationship with food growing up. It's all it was. I would eat food for, comfort. I would get made fun of for being fat, whatever, general stuff when you're a kid, being overweight. So going through that, then when high school hit, I started playing football. I went to a high school around here. It was one of the better high schools in the state. We won, 2 or 3 state titles when I was there. I played offensive line, defensive line there until my junior year. I got a ton of concussions. So I got, I think, 4 or 5 concussions. My last one, I don't even remember the game. If you're familiar with football, if you know offensive line, you have to cut block, you kind of go chop block people. There was a play we had to do, and we must have ran that play 15, 20 times during the game. I was getting kneed in the head every single time. So I don't remember anything during that game. I woke up the next morning, sweating, shaking, and I'm not even joking. The next 2 months, I looked like I had Parkinson's disease. Like my hands were shaking and my head was shaking. And this was the first time I had doctors tell me they had no idea what was happening. They're like, I don't know what's happening. We're just going to monitor you and let it happen. But I was shaking for a solid 2 months. I couldn't stop shaking. Eventually that went away, but my football career was over. I had aspirations of playing in college. I was getting scouted by a bunch of different teams. I was starting on this team, my sophomore and junior year, one of the better schools in the state. I was 6'1", 280, 290 pounds. I was a big kid, but I was athletic. I've always been athletic. But I was a great offensive lineman, great defensive lineman, and I did my job. I was smart, and I was a good leader on the team being young. So once my football career kind of ended, I still stayed with the football team. Everybody loved me. I was going to be one of the captains there when I got my senior year. So I still stayed with the football team, worked out with them, did everything. But like my kind of love for fitness and lifting kind of just died because I wasn't playing a sport anymore. I was kind of lost. I was like, man, I was going to do football in college. I was going to do this, going to do that. And it kind of sent me down a spiral. So I gained a ton of weight through my senior year. Once I got out of, high school, I graduated. I was like 315, 320 pounds. I hated my life. I was just like, I was lost. All my friends moved away, like farther away to school. I went to community college around here. So I was still, in the area. I didn't really have anything to do. Some of my friends went to West Chester University in Penn State, anywhere between like an hour and a half and like 3 or 4 hours from me. So I didn't really have anything here except for, get my life together. So I was sitting there one day, I was like, man, fuck it. Like, I hate myself. I hate what I look like. I hate what I'm doing. I hate where my life is going. And honestly, I was like, man, like no girls are going to want to date a fat guy like me. So I was like, you know what? Let me get in the gym. So it started that day, and I just got in a good routine. Every single morning I would wake up, eat a good breakfast, and then go to school. Right after school, I'd go straight to the gym for a couple hours, do the gym, hit my cardio, and then come home, do my homework, and go to sleep. I did that every single day. And even on the weekends, I would make sure I got the gym in and doing that. So over the course of, I started working out probably Thanksgiving of my freshman year of college. And then by the time it was like May, when all my friends got home from school the next year, they didn't even recognize me. Like I vividly remember my friends like, man, like, who is this guy? Like I lost almost 100 pounds in, it was like 6, 7, 8 months. Got there. And then I was just, I was a lot lighter than what I was, and I wasn't really super muscular. I mean, I had muscle on me, but my one friend, Ian, he used to make fun of me and said I looked like a bobblehead because I had a big ass head and my body was, I wasn't like small, but like I was a lot smaller than what I was. So I was on Instagram one day and I fell upon, you probably know who Ian Smith is, owner of the Tillish in Belmar. I fell upon him on Instagram. This is back before all this stuff with the gym. He was just a personal trainer in the area. So I messaged him. And I hired him as my first coach. And I was like, hey, look, I'm just trying to get strong. So me and him started training together and working out together. And it turned from him training me to me being his workout partner to him actually taking me under his wing and having me coach clients at his gym with him. So that's how I really started coaching. And then at that time, I had met Jay Asseltine and Zach Hommel at the same time. They were kind of mentoring me. Jay did my nutrition for a while. Awesome guy. Zach kind of took me under his wing and kind of mentored me in strength sports. I learned a ton from him. And then at that time, I was just, I was looking for something more. I lifted a lot. I worked out. I like training people, but I wanted to compete for something. So at that time, me and Ian started training for a Strongman show. We did New York Strongest Man 3 years in a row. Me and him competed together for a couple of years. It was awesome. He fell in love with the sport. And then just over time, I just got closer with him. I got closer with Zach, Jay. I met awesome guys like Dylan Spina. I met Mike Donatelli through them. And then I started getting more active on Twitter once I really, got into it. Once I saw some of the guys doing it more, probably about a year ago, I kind of stepped more into Twitter. And then I was coaching, I was doing in-person coaching sessions. I'm probably doing anywhere from 25 to 40 coaching sessions a week. That was taking a lot of my time. So at the time I was bartending, going to school, and doing all the coaching at the same time. So I was burnt out, and then just, started learning more from Zach, and then took my business online. So once I got my business online, opened up a lot more time for more training, and then more, more time to bartend, relax, enjoy myself. I'm in school. So then now I'm here. So, started off as like, pretty insecure, quiet, fat kid, and then got into the gym a lot. And then at that time, got my bartending job, in the restaurant, got a lot more comfortable around people. And then, now we're here. So back in the day, I would have hated talking to people. I used to be the most shy person. I would always do my best to stay out of attention. I would never talk to anybody I didn't know. And then now I'm on a Zoom call with some dude I met on Twitter who lives in Texas. So we're here.
Yeah, man. I can't imagine you ever being quiet and shy.
Yeah.
I can say that I never have been. Even when I was fat, I didn't give a fuck, right? So do you remember our first phone call?
Oh my God, dude. I was doing some work at Starbucks, right? And we were just chatting, we were texting back and forth. And I was like, hey, give me a call whenever you can. So I'm getting in my car ready to leave the Starbucks, and I get a call from you. You're huffing and puffing, like not really. You're like, dude, I just fucking ran a marathon. I'm like, what? I just ran a fucking marathon. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I just got in my car. I'm just done. Sorry if I'm all over the place. I'm trying to, I just got done like 2 minutes ago. I'm trying to, calm my heart rate down. I'm like, this dude's fucking crazy. Like, where did this guy come from? Like, they build them different in Texas.
Yeah, well, I'm not Texan. I just live here, but yeah, man, that was a Wednesday. I don't know if you recall that. I decided to go out. Well, I was gonna run like 10, and then I liked my pace, and I was like, fuck.
Random ass Wednesday, this dude's running a fucking marathon. Like, what do you almost got right under 3 hours, right?
Yeah, 3 hours 44 seconds. Yeah, man, and that was yeah, and it was crazy because I just done that. Because I decided. So that weekend was interesting because I went and watched Ryan, your coach. I went and watched him race down in Ironman, Texas. Man, got to chase his ass on the course. I had like 30,000 steps that day, I think. And then the next day was Daniel DT Fitness. People don't know, my friend.
Your son.
It was my son. Yeah, exactly. We had a great Father's Day. It was his 1 year sober anniversary. So I decided for that, I was like, hey man, I'll do a half Ironman just as kudos to you. And I ended up running 14. I did an extra mile, and I was like looking. I was like, dude, that was a fast half marathon. I was like, you know what? I'd been doing all the speed work, and I hired a running coach, so I was doing all this stuff. And I was like, that was kind of like when I had unveiled. I'd started putting out some really fast miles, 1, 2, 3, 4 miles. But then I just didn't know. I was like, man, will my calves hold up? Because I shifted from being a freaking dragging my feet runner to like I'm going back to sprinting. Like I'm running like a sprinter, and let's see how long I can keep it. Well, at first, my calves and my hamstrings were just eaten alive very quickly, right? I was cramping bad. Started doing a bunch of footwork and speed work and feet work and everything else in the world and taking care of my feet. And then all of a sudden, I was like, that was the first time when I realized, oh man, things are different now, right? So I went out on that day to run. That Wednesday, because I was like, man, I'm tired. I need to recover, but I've got to do it. So I was like, let me see where I'm at 10 miles. Okay, let me see where I'm at 13. And I was like, let's go to 16. And just said, at some point, I just said, fuck it, man. I'm running 26.2. I said 20, and I was like, hell, man.
Fuck it, you got to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that here's the funny thing is, I've never run just a marathon like officially. I've only done ultras. I've only done Ironman, and I've done it on my own several times now. But yeah, man, I've never gone. I don't care to. I mean, I'm thinking about it. I think finishing Boston would be cool because you got to qualify for Boston or something there. But listen. I mean, no offense to anybody that runs marathons, but I'm like, dude. I mean, listen. I'm not going to ever be a professional marathon runner, so I don't care. I mean. If you're going to run a marathon, go ahead and do the rest of the race, man. Not the swim and the bike down, right? So, I just pissed half of my followers off, I think. But anyway, yeah, man. So let me ask you this, man. What do you think? The opinions will be like? Because you're on a coaching business, right? You've got clients. You see Ironman helping that a little bit.
Oh, definitely. I'm kind of, I'm learning a ton. I knew basics on how to train, the cardiovascular system and everything, but I didn't really know like the thick of it and what you can really do that, obviously swimming, biking, running is great, but just like different things you can do that aren't that, just train the cardiovascular system, learning how to really, I'm really learning very quick how to make this more of like a lifestyle and getting, like my thing now, I learned this a lot from Zach, is just, getting more time on feet, taking calls on my feet, making sure I'm walking a lot, just like learning different tools for people that may not be, an athlete, but like somebody who's just trying to lose weight, getting them in the habit of going on more frequent walks, learning how to really just do stuff for your house. There's no reason why you can't, rip out 100 push-ups over the day and do a couple walking lunges and maybe get a couple kettlebells at your house and not got to go work out. Keep you healthy. But like definitely with coaching, it's opened me a lot more doors and just meeting new people. And people are really intrigued and just seeing me going from strongman to Ironman in less than a year. People really like that story. And it's pretty cool to kind of share that with people as I go. I'm starting up a new video series. Also, I'm going to be hopefully posting that to YouTube soon. I'm trying to learn all like the editing stuff and get on the YouTube more. So I'm going to try and document the next 5-6 months, 4-5 months now from November. Trying to document that more to get them more on YouTube more. Maybe show more people like, look, like you can do it. It's possible. It's a lot of work, but it's possible. Because I know a lot of people were asking me a lot of questions on what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, like how is it possible to go from a strength athlete to an Ironman athlete? And then I'm going to be going back to strength athlete. So it's going to be cool to kind of document that transition through people, to kind of show people like it's possible with the right work ethic and the right, with the right plan. It's really possible to do really anything you can push your body to. So I've learned a lot really, really quick. Like your mind will give out a lot quicker than what your body does. And it's to kind of learn how to push through that little wall in your mind and say, fuck it, I'm going to finish this. And just do it. So I'm kind of learning a lot more mental strength and a lot more mental tactics that can help out with a lot more clients.
Yeah. So it's, you said that, like, and we talk, you see a lot of people, they have a stereotype of what they think an Ironman athlete is. The one thing that was the biggest shock for me, and I picked this up on a race course, it wasn't one of those things I figured out months before, was we've got this weird diverse group of people between your guys, between Dreyer and Zach and all you guys, and me and all my guys, right? There's this crazy diverse group, right? I've got an NCAA basketball coach, McNeese State University's coach is doing it with us, right? I've got, dudes from all walks of life that never ever thought that they would be, Caleb, right? Dude, he's your freaking, he's your size, dude, right?
He's built like Thor. He's built like Thanos from the Avengers.
Yes,
real life Thanos.
Not Thor. Yeah, he's big. Yeah, dude. So but he's doing it. And here's what I figured out, dude. I thought that everybody was, like I say, Mr. granola eating professor looking motherfucker, right? Dude, there are those are, and the top ones often do look like that, right? But man, one thing I realized is, dude, it is as diverse as a sport as any sport I've ever seen. And if you go to a powerlifting, to a strongman, a lot of those guys look extremely similar for obvious reasons, right? To perform at that sport. But dude, you see all types on the Ironman course, and that's what's crazy is that's the coolest thing about it is because when you've done it and you've gone through that training and you're on that course, man, and you said you're, don't let me beat one of you motherfuckers because you'll never hear the end of it. I will be surprised if that ever comes up because I felt that.
Oh yeah, I would love them to beat me. Like I want us to all do great. And like,
yeah,
the thing with Ironman is like anybody can do it. Like I've seen stories of moms doing it, like guys with only one leg doing it.
Yeah.
Like people who like, you don't really have, there's not really a big barrier to entry.
Right.
You just have to want it. You have to do it and you put the work in, and anybody can do it. Doesn't matter if you're fat, if you're, if you're old, young. If you put the work in, you can accomplish it and you can do it, and you can have fun with it. So really just having that squad of people, I'm like, we're so different than everybody, and just seeing the really just like, kind of changing my mindset around triathletes. And like you said, you thought there were a bunch of granola eating people. Like I thought you had to be vegan to sign up for an Ironman, not gonna lie. Like I thought, you had to, run every single day and bike every day, and you had to be a certain type of person. You had to be small and skinny. That's changing me a lot now. Then I see guys like you, guys like Caleb, guys like Zach and Dylan Spina and Jay and Mike Donatelli and Ryan. Like seeing all different people doing this is just like, it's just really making me appreciate the sport a lot more, and just appreciate like how hard this stuff truly is to do. But anybody can really do it. You don't have to be something special. You're not going to be a special athlete, gifted athlete to do this. You just have to have a strong mind and the willpower to do it.
Yeah, it's 100% mental. and I'll tell you, dude, that day, and I cannot wait. I can't, because I want to talk to you guys after, right? I choke up even still talking about it, dude. My first Ironman was in November of 2019, and we had COVID hit, right? So basically 2 years were kind of washed away there. But I still think often about that day, and dude, I still choke up, man. And I'm not talking about the finish. And I say it all the time, experience is greater than stuff. I cannot tell you anything about all these cars I've owned. I can't tell you anything about a lot of different things, right? I mean, it's possessions, but I can tell you in intricate detail about every moment of that race, right? And I was fortunate enough, I raced with one of my best friends, Chris, and while I did beat him, he beat my ass out of the water, which I never thought was possible in a million years, but I had the goggle incident, right? I tracked him down. I caught him at about the 40-mile mark on the bike. But I hung out at the finish line, and he finished, man. And since I was there, they like, dude, normally Ironman charges you for fucking everything, right? But they allowed me to hang around and put his medal on him. And to this day, dude, there's a picture of he and I hugging after I put his medal on, dude. And to this day, I cannot see that picture. I'm talking about it. It chokes me up because, dude, that right there was as big of a moment for me as me running down that chute and hearing Mike Riley say that I'm an Ironman, right? So you're going to remember, there's going to be some otherwise benign moments, right? That otherwise wouldn't even be a flicker on the radar, that you're going to remember patting someone on the back. You can tell they're struggling, right? Just the smiles, the looks, the crowd. You're gonna remember noises and sounds, and you're just it's the weirdest thing, because, dude, I knew mentally that I was like, I'm gonna have to fucking die out there to not finish, but until you do it, you don't know that you can do it. Yeah. I mean, you can have the best training program in the world. You can be in the best condition, but there are a lot of things that are out of your control, right? I mean, you can crash your fucking bike, you can freaking, get sick in the water, whatever, right? You could, at a marathon in itself, standalone is no bitch. It's no joke. I harass them, but it's not an easy thing. Even walking 26 miles sucks. But there's a lot until you do it. You don't know, but it's crazy. And people ask me all the time, what advice would you give somebody on their first race? Just fucking absorb the day. I mean, it's not a race, okay? It's a triathlon. It's an event, but it's not. I think for most people. Now, Ryan races. Chris Mocher races. That's something. Oh, he's a beast. He's a fucking monster, right? But for most people, man, it's just an event, and that day, man, it's tough to beat. I'm
looking forward to it, just soaking in every moment, because I've been joking with people saying, I'm running 2 Ironmans that day, my first and my last. But I may, who knows, I might run one eventually again. But I'm just excited to just enjoy that day, because when will there ever be another time in my life where I have all of my best friends doing the same exact thing in the same exact spot at this time? We're all young, we're ready, we're just in a really good spot in life, and we're all just training for something together, and it's all going to come at that one day. It's going to be awesome. So I'm just going to soak it in, but obviously push my best, do my hardest. But I'm going to be on the bike, I might coast a little bit and just take it in, maybe look around a little bit, kind of just, remember that moment and enjoy it. And, across that finish line is going to be one of the top moments of my life. It's going to be incredible just to feel that, just have all my homies there with me, and just, I'm so excited. It's going to be such a good day. I'm just excited for it.
Man, I'm going to be there, right?
I'm pumped, dude. I'm so pumped. You're going to be getting more steps in than us that day.
Yeah, man, chasing one guy around it's still so. And from a spectator standpoint, it's a terrible sport, right? Because the bike goes so far out, and to track somebody down on the run, it's a challenge, right? Yeah. But the transitions, getting to the transitions is a lot of fun, and catching people as they come out. I choke up right now talking about it. I didn't know that video was being taken of me and Ryan when he's coming off the bike.
Oh, that was such a good video, dude.
I didn't know there was a video. It wasn't planned. And man, dude, wow. Yeah, I still watch that. Like when I don't feel like, dude, everybody thinks I'm just like, I wake up and beat my head on the wall. I do a lot of times, but there's a lot of days where I'll sit and be like, man, I don't want to put these fucking shoes on. I don't really feel like getting on that bike. I'll walk around the house, take my dog out 11 times, do all kinds of shit, make a bunch of phone calls, procrastinate just like everybody else. But at some point I say, hey man, stop being a pussy and get on the bike. I will watch that video of Ryan because he and I had never met. You know, that was, I saw him come out of the water and I cheered for him, and it was funny because he's so fucking cool. He looked at me and goes, what's up, man? As
he's the coolest dude ever. He's just so chill. He's just the coolest dude in the world. He's just like,
he and I are different ends of the spectrum like that, man. But man, I love that guy. And yeah, man. So I tell you, I am as excited to go down there and meet and cheer you guys on as I do. And I've obviously got a pretty big event coming up myself. But I mean, your guys is 3 weeks after mine. And I'm more excited about hanging out and just, you know, like, dude, I mean, I'm going to have every one of you guys on the app. I'm going to be tracking you as you come out of the water.
Yeah, that's going to be so much fun. Oh,
yeah, yeah, man. So I'm very excited about that. I mean, I can't wait to talk to every one of you guys after. And that's something you guys are never forget. Yeah, I mean, and so I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, I haven't made this public, right? So I went to the doctor yesterday, and I started having this crazy pain in my nuts, right? I'm like, I've been tripping the fuck out the last like week. I think I got to I was like, in my mind, like I got on stupid ass WebMD, and I'm like, I think I've got testicular cancer. I was like fucking terrified, right? Dude, I don't. I have 2 very large hernias in the bottom of my abdominal wall, and I've got at least one in my groin. So I go to the doctor yesterday, and they're like, and I haven't said this on Twitter yet. I mean, Dookie Butternose, he made a comment today, and I was like, good Lord, man. So, it hurts no matter what. Well, I go to the doctor, and they're like, dude, we need to get this fixed. I'm like, well, let's schedule it for the end of October, maybe middle of November. They're like, why on earth would you wait? I'm like, because I've got a fucking race I got to do. And they're like, what kind of race? And I tell them, and they're like, dude, there's no way on earth that this isn't excruciating. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. You know what? I was like, will it kill me if I don't do it? And they're like, well, probably not. But I'm like, okay, then I'm doing it. I mean, so for me, it was like, dude, I wanted to know if I'm really fucking uncommon amongst uncommon. Well, goddamn it, we're going to find out. Right. So then while I'm there, because I'm at the VA, right? So while I'm there, I'm like, hey man, I got this fucking problem in my foot too. Could you guys x-ray my foot? And they're like, dude, the hospital was kind of dead because it was a holiday. I didn't realize it was a holiday. And they're like, well, sure. So they take me back and they x-ray my foot. And the x-ray tech goes, you've broken this foot a couple of times, huh? And I'm like, I don't know if I have, right? I guess. He's like, yeah, there's calcification here and here and here. And I was like, okay, cool. Radiologist looks at it, orthopedic comes out. He's like, dude, you got a fucking hairline fracture and you're like the metatarsal that connects the big toe. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I felt. He's
that's
like,
probably what hurts.
Yeah, that's what hurts like a bitch, right? You never heard me say anything about it. I just wanted confirmation that, like, okay, look, man, I'm not being a pussy. This shit, it should hurt, right? But man, now, I'll get all that shit taken care of after.
He's built different.
Yeah,
cyborg.
Yeah, dude. And it's funny. Again, had they said there's nothing fucking wrong with you, or I mean, my concern with my balls was like, dude, we're gonna cut the motherfuckers off, right? Yeah. Thankfully, don't. And then now that they explained it where it hurt and all thing, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I didn't fucking know. I'm like, well, I mean, I had like diarrhea, right? I never have that. And I was like, they're like, yeah, that'll happen, fucking blah blah. I mean, but it's fine. But I was like, man, fuck. I was like, you know, I because I'm a big Lance Armstrong fan. I was like, fuck, man, are you kidding me? Right? So
you and your boy.
yeah. I was like, so dude, I'm like, I'm already like, fucking like sad about my kids and shit. Like, man, they're gonna have that. My dog's barking. But anyway, so here's the deal. Remember that, because when you're feeling pain, bro, just fuck it, man. I'm an old ass man and I'm fucking falling apart.
Got, what, 3 hernias and a broken foot? Fuck it. Ain't nothing you can't do.
Yeah, man. So
I got a question for you, actually. I've been thinking this. You talked a little bit about, going back to things you kind of draw off of. And, you know Goggins and everything. He talks a lot about his cookie jar. You reach in that cookie jar and take out something that, you kind of draw from. There's deep waters. There's days when, like, you really did something fucking hard where, an experience you kind of draw energy from. And I know you've been through a lot in your entire life. You've had the hard stuff. You're a father, you have kids, you have a family, you have everything. And like, what are some things you kind of, when things are hard, what do you really draw off of?
Yeah, man, that's it just depends on how hard, right? Depends where we're at. I mean, I look back a lot of I mean, the first the first hard thing I got through was dude getting out of my freaking childhood, dude. My dad was a fucking violent, angry man, very similar to that of Goggins, right? Um, that was a challenge, bro. And I did. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm gonna answer. Let my stupid dog out. He's an idiot. I'm gonna pause this, okay?
You go, bro.
So, man, yeah, to answer that. So the first thing I always draw on is my dad, man. He was abusive, he was an addict, and he just a bad person, right? And avoid litigation. I'm not going to get real deep into that. Okay. The next thing was one of the biggest things I did, man. I spent 20 months in Baghdad, Iraq, away from my kid, my son, when he was a baby. That dude, I survived that. I mean, and there's guys that had it way shittier, way worse than I did. But being away, man, it was as close to being in prison as I can imagine being. But the biggest thing that I realized I could go through is my first Ironman. I mean, I had been in a deep, dark place leading up to that. I was battling depression. Dude, there were days where I mean, there were some dark days that I really toyed with the idea of like, man, why am I even here? Right. Basically 10 days into that freaking journey. I mean, I tried to start a couple of times leading up to that. And I just couldn't get momentum. I couldn't get traction. Right. And then here I finally am. I'm like, dude, I feel like this is different. I'd signed up, right? I said, fuck it. I'm signing up for an Ironman. Now, I didn't know what an Ironman was. We'll visit that in a second. When I signed up, I've told the story. I thought it was a fucking mile swim, 15. I had no idea, bro. I had no idea. I signed up for it. Now, oh shit. So 10 days after that, my ex-wife was messing around with Christmas lights and fell and shattered her leg, right? So we had a 5-month-old baby. She was completely immobile. She was in the hospital for the better part of a month. My son was a freshman in high school at a high school about 25 to 30 minutes away. So I had to take care of the baby first thing in the morning, get her up and moving and fed and clean. Had to get my son up. He was a wrestler. They start practice at like 5:30, bro. Yeah. So I had to get his ass over there, get back, get her situated. My ex-wife Lisa had to get her set up and make sure she was fed and she could go back. I had, a lot of different things, man. So, and then, I've got a fucking job, right? So I took a lot of time off, but I there were a lot of go out and run a mile in the backyard, bro, running around in circles. There was a lot of days where, man, I'd be like, okay. I mean, I was the first one up and the last one to bed every single day. And I had to make sure every meal was taken care of for everybody. Right. And there were a lot, and a lot of people are like, well, that's what mothers do every day. You know what? Yeah, I agree 100%. But there were days when I would get on the bike for 20 minutes at a time or 30 minutes at a time, 8 times. Right. I mean, just a bunch of different workouts. I had every reason in the world to say, man, it's not the right time, man. I mean, and dude, it fucking wasn't, bro. I mean, there's a good chance that's why I'm not married today, right? Listen, because I wasn't going to be denied, right? I mean, she had like 9 surgeries that year or 8 surgeries, I think, leading up to that. I think she's had 10 or 11 total now, leading up to the race. As a matter of fact, she couldn't go to Arizona because she had to have an emergency surgery like 2 weeks before. So she was unable to go. So there was a lot that year that gave me every chance to say, nah, man, it's just not in the cards, right? Maybe I was being selfish, right? I mean, maybe I probably was. I mean, but I know this right here. I know at that point I was the best caregiver I could have been for that time when she couldn't walk, right? I know I was, right? I know I was the best father I've ever been. I mean, that meant Zach talks about being on your feet, brother. Before I could run, I could put my little girl in a freaking shopping cart and I could go walk around Kroger for 4 hours, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what I did, bro.
Yeah, that's what you had to do.
Yeah, and then my son took jiu-jitsu at night at 7 o'clock, bro. And he had just come back to live with me and he was struggling like emotionally. And I was like, dude, I got to keep him involved. I can't put him on because he's making great progress right now. So dude, I was like, so I had to load everybody else up, get her situated again and take the baby. And we'd go to freaking BJJ and let him roll for an hour while I walked around Kroger as fast as I could again, because the Kroger's right next to his BJJ. And So I remember that way. That was the time I realized, or I reaffirmed that, like, dude, nothing will stop me once I have the end goal in mind, right? And I have why I want to do it. There's nothing. I mean, just when the why is big enough, the how doesn't fucking
matter. Yeah,
we'll figure it out, right? And man, that there was more growth in that year than the other fucking 41 or whatever before that combined. I think I was 43 when I finished my Ironman. So prior 42 years, I grew more in that one year than I did the previous, 42. So that's the one thing right there that I always like, man, look, yeah, shit right now, not right now, but like, yeah, dude, you go through a bad day or have some bad news or whatever. And I'm like, dude, this will pass, right? That didn't kill me. I didn't die, right? So yeah, man. So I like the idea of realizing that you've been through, use what you've been through to get you through the next thing. Because whatever we're going through, there's a recency, right? That whatever we're going through is the worst shit in the world. But it's not. Right? It's not.
It'll pass.
Yeah, exactly, man. What else? Fire away, brother. I'm all about it.
That's an incredible story. Like, just like, I didn't really know about, like, I don't know if that was what you went through when you prepped for the Ironman. And that's just incredible, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't got time. And that's valid. That's like, people have families, people or whatever. And like, that's a valid reason to maybe step down from a big race. And no, nothing against people that do that, but being able to push through that and do that, that's just an incredible story. And that's just, thanks for sharing that, brother.
Yeah, man. So, and that's funny too. So that's a hard thing for me, was like, like sign up for that next race. Cause I didn't, dude, I don't consider myself an Ironman triathlete, right? I've done an Ironman. I don't consider myself a runner, but I run. I'm pretty fucking good at it, but I don't consider myself a runner. I don't consider myself, I'll never be a swimmer. I'm fucking, hey, my fastest pull time, my slowest pull times are pretty much close to the same. I love the bike, but I'm not a cyclist, right? I'm not that. But man, so that was a hard thing for me, was like, okay, what's it going to take to make me sign up for another race? Okay, I signed up for Ironman Cozumel last year. And that was like, I was like, fuck, man, I don't know if we're even going to have races. I don't know if my ass is going to get stuck in Mexico. And I was like, but I was training my ass off for it. And then I got COVID. And it was my second time I got it. It fucking put me down, bro. I didn't take it serious, and it fucked me up. And then I like a week later, I was like, fuck it, I'm going out training. My dumb ass got pneumonia from it, right? So I was down for basically a month, not being able to do shit, right? So, but I can tell you this, my heart wasn't in it. And if I had if I had that focus, I'd never done it before, I'd have still fucking done it. I would have done it. And I probably could have fucking done it and done it okay in it. But I was letting shit like travel fuck with me. I was like, man, I don't know. They keep locking shit down and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me to find the right race was important. I don't give a fuck about medals. I don't care about collecting medals. I've got the fucking tattoo, right? Yeah. So then it all came together with Waco, right? So I've got Ironman does not have two races in the same place in the same weekend often. I mean, they do it twice a year now, Waco in Wisconsin. And it's a logistic nightmare, to say the least, because Ironman's a logistic nightmare for the city. So there's that. And this one's in my backyard, right? I thought, dude, who gets to do both of them? It's perfect, right? Yeah. And then like I reach out, because I'm part of the Ironman Foundation. I reach out to them, and they're like, hey man, you're a veteran. You want to be the Gold Star rep? And I'm like, what is that? I kind of knew a little bit about it. And they're like, well, you visit with the Gold Star family before the race and the events leading up to it. You hold the flag for the national anthem. And at the end of the race, you run with the flag the whole way. And at the end of the race, you present that flag to a member of the fallen, okay, to a family of the fallen. And they're like, do you want to do that? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, which race? I said, both of them. I want to do it both races. Dude, I don't like running in the water, right? So I'm out there running around my neighborhood carrying this fucking broom handle. And I hate it. But here's what I think. If I suffer, let's say worst fucking case, man. Let's say carrying this broom handle, so I'm in a fine line here. I can't go out and blow out the Ironman because I got to freaking get up and do it again the next day, right? So for me, the event is finishing both days. I don't give a fuck. If it takes me 16 hours and 58 minutes on day one and 7 hours, 29 minutes or whatever it is, 8 hours, 29 minutes on day two, I don't give a fuck. All right. I'm
Yeah.
doing both races, right? So I figured this. Let's say it takes me 6 hours to do this fucking marathon. And let's say it takes me 3 hours on day 2 to do the fucking half, right? It's going to be suffering. My hands, my feet, my ass, my pride, my everything's going to hurt. Brother, I can suffer for 24 hours, 48 hours, right? And then here's what I know. The people I hand that flag to, they don't get to fucking end their suffering, man.
No, never.
Whoever that they've lost, dude, I mean, that suffering doesn't end. It does not go away. So, like you said, I will fucking die on that course. I committed. Hernias, fucking broken bones. I don't give a fuck. It's not an excuse, bro. I mean, again, if their child, their husband, their dad sacrificed everything, dude, so you and I can sit here right now and fucking talk with no worries of, fucking bombs hitting us or whatever, right? So I have a duty, an obligation, and a responsibility to show up at that fucking race no matter what, and spend October and 15th and 16th on that course to get that flag to those people that deserve it.
That's powerful, dude. I didn't even know you were doing that. That's badass.
Yeah, that's man, I'm the kind of guy I can't even listen to the national anthem without choking up. So
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, man. So it's that's my mission, right?
That's incredible, dude. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped to see you cross that finish line. Oh my God. You're gonna crush it, dude.
Yeah, there's some videos. I posted one of them yesterday on Twitter, man. Go check it out, dude. It's man, it's some savage stuff. And I'm yeah, man, I again, I had to have something bigger than me, right? Yeah. And dude, I cannot think of any fucking thing bigger
than anything bigger than that. Yeah, nothing bigger.
As a veteran, so I can. I mean, so yeah, man, I'm pumped. Yeah, I mean, so that was important for me to get out there and put all that out, right? Like, hey, man, I'm doing both, right? And dude, I just like everybody, I block motherfuckers. I don't have time for negative bitches. But dude, I got a litany of motherfuckers that just like me. And people send it to me like, dude, this motherfucker's talking shit. I'm like, dude, I block them. I don't even want to hear that guy.
Yeah.
Dude, there would be these guys, there's fucking pussies online that will nothing more than like, they're not going to go out and do shit, right? Especially, it's wild, man. Most motherfuckers that are critical are people that do Ironman all the time. Like, they're like, dude, if you're not out there trying to get 9 hours, then you're a fucking loser, right? I'm like, dude, it's not about that for me. I don't care. I mean, whatever, good, fuck, congratulations, dude, come bench with me, right? I mean, fuck, right? Come with me.
Do something different. Like, that's how it is, obviously being a strength athlete and somebody bigger trying to get into the space. Like, the majority of people who do triathlon so far, they haven't been negative, but they've been like kind of like, not like encouraging, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're kind of like taking it back. They're like, oh, like, you're going to do that race. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, like, good luck with that. Like, kind of backhanded compliments. And I'm like, motherfucker, like, you don't know me. Like,
yeah,
you like you said, like, I will literally die before I don't finish that race. I don't care if it takes me 24 hours. If I break both legs, I gotta crawl. Like, I'm gonna finish the race. And that's really, it's just a powerful, your story is incredible. Just what you're gonna be doing for that family. And like, that's something that family will never forget. Yeah. Like, both of those families would be like, wow, like, this guy did back-to-back days of Ironmans, for us, and to honor our son who we lost, father, brother, whoever we lost. That's incredible, dude.
Yeah, man. And I'm a big thing for me is like veteran suicide, 22 a day or whatever's the number, I think. I mean, I don't know what it is today, but it's something like, it is like has tradition, and 22 veterans a day take their lives. And that's something I'm passionate about, right? So I'm hoping, and I don't get to pick, right? I don't know. Ironman's probably already got it figured out, but I hope that one of those families is someone that lost a veteran that way. And whatever, dude, I'm not going to say like, no, dude, I don't give a fuck, right? I mean, however, I don't care if they died in a motorcycle home on leave, brother. It doesn't matter, right? Because it's too soon and it's unnecessary. I mean, and I say unnecessary, but it's unfortunate, right? So whatever, I'm going to be excited, but a part of me really hopes that, I hope that one of the families is that, because I want nothing more to bring awareness to that. I don't know the answers. I'm not I mean, I'm a fucking knuckle dragger. But I want attention on that. And if that's something that me doing both races brings attention to, then fuck it, man. It's worth it for
That's
me.
the least you can do. Yeah. So that's worth it. That's such a big problem in our country right now is like, veterans, they go over, they fight, they come home, and it's just like, they leave you here. They're like, look, try it, figure it out yourself. It's like, there's not enough, love and like, a space for veterans to really, be there for somebody, have people that are there for them. It's really hard. So that's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know the answer, right? Because you're I mean, while you're active duty, if you ask for fucking help, dude, you're over. Your career's ruined. I mean, you're fucked. Right? You're a pussy. And there's no weakness in asking for help, right? So, I mean, man, I don't know the answers. I wish that our political system would get unfucked, at least have a common passion for that, because what those fucking idiots do is they'll say, okay, let's focus on this, and this. And then one side of them says, hey, and we're going to put fucking $100 trillion in for fucking Ukraine. The other side says, and we're going to do $100 billion for fucking the United Auto Workers. And then they're like, oh, and then, hey, we need a highway named for so-and-so in fucking Mississippi. And I'm like, dude, listen, goddammit. I know how Washington works, but for 1 second, for 1 fucking minute, there's nobody that's going to be against you doing the right thing for the people, right? So then if your ass says, dude, I don't think we need to spend $2 billion on a fucking highway in Mississippi, right? And they're like, oh, you're anti-vet. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, and then the shit ends up, the money goes to fucking, to basically the lobbyists, and it just never gets to where it needs to
Anybody but the people the money will go to. It's just like, it's sad that, the people that fight for our country, they can't take care of them. They can't, make sure they're okay when they get home. And
man, I tell you. And I'm like, my problems are fucking much louder than a lot of those guys. I was at the VA yesterday, brother, and I was sitting there thinking, like, these poor fucking dudes, man. I mean, it's chaos. I mean, and it's like, I tell anybody, dude, you think fucking veterans are being taken care of? Forget. I know you see the homeless. Veteran homeless is through the roof too, right? Take your ass to the VA, any VA hospital, walk in if you can get in. I mean, now security's wild, but I mean, like, dude, for real. I mean, it shouldn't be that bad. I mean, it should not. It should not be. And I don't, again, like, dude, I've got all my faculties, man. I'm good. I mean, I'm fucking great, right? But man, dude, and this is something you asked me about, something that I draw back on. Well, one thing that I remember, and I thought about this a lot during this training cycle. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings in San Antonio, just right down the block from my house a few years ago. And we were right next to, so this was at the height. I would say this was probably 2010, 11. So, we're a decade into 2 wars, right? And there was a group of kids. I mean, I say kids, they were probably, or they were 21, 22-year-old, probably, my guess, privates, maybe corporals, but they were young, right? And one of the guys with them had no fucking, he was burnt, right? It's completely, you could tell he just had like reconstructive surgery. His face was gone. He had holes for his eyes, dude. And that kid sat there with a United States Marine Corps fucking t-shirt on. He had every reason in the world to fucking say, fuck these guys. Look what they did to me. And he proudly sat there and wore that fucking shirt and would go out again to make sure that my little girl and my son get to sleep at night with no fucking worries, right? Dude, people talk about what you're doing and what I'm doing and these races and the fucking centuries. Man, there's a different fucking breed of beast out there that people don't know anything about.
This is nothing compared to what they're doing. We're doing this just, because you want to.
Exactly.
These guys, they sacrifice everything for our country. Yeah. It's just, they're a special kind of person. It's just, I can't be more thankful for them and what they do for our country. And of course, what you did for our country, and just, the sacrifices they make every day. It's just like, people take that for granted a lot, what we have here in this country and what, the freedoms we have, because people, gave up everything for it, and it's just, man. And I wish, we did more for them than, what we do now. And it's just like, it's sad that you don't do more. It's awful.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, who knows? We'd go down that rabbit hole, but man, yeah, it sucks. But anyway, I think like with my race, at least I've got, that's something. Hey, I get to bring awareness to it, and I like
Yeah,
to
you
talk about
definitely
it.
will. That's an awesome cause. And then I'm gonna start spreading the word with that. That's an awesome thing to do. I know I could definitely let my guy Ian know. He's connected with some people with different charities, whatever. If they get some sort of word of that, they can definitely, do something with that too. So we can maybe work on something with that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I'll send you over the link to the actual, like, the guy that started it, and it's a YouTube video, man. Just be ready. Be
That's
ready.
awesome, bro.
Get your
Good.
emotion. Anything else you got for me, my man?
Nothing, man, dude. I love just talking to you. I think we could talk for hours and hours, dude. This is
Yeah,
an
no
awesome
shit,
chat.
right?
I'm excited to see where where this takes you. This is an awesome podcast, video series idea, getting different guys on here talking to them about, what they do and, different mindsets and, who they are. I think it's an awesome idea, dude. I love it, dude.
Yeah, man. Well, tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter is it's Adam Sikora. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram too, not as much. It's Adam_Sikora_. You can sign up for my newsletter in the link in my bio in my Twitter. I'll be starting up a YouTube channel this week documenting my strongman and Ironman transitions, what I do, how to really, what I do to train, what I do to eat, different mindset stuff. I am taking on some clients for coaching if you're interested in that. I work with all different kinds of people. I love, hop on some calls with you guys, kind of get to know you guys more, but love talking to you, Boyd. I love what you're doing. I love your message. I love your mission. And, you're just a badass dude. It's just like, there's not many people built like you anymore.
I appreciate that, my man. Well, everybody, we appreciate you guys listening. Again, look this guy up. I'm telling you, he's a breath of fresh air. I don't know how many times he's done this. He comes off like a fucking pro, and it's exciting, man. I'm glad.
It's the first time I've ever done anything like this.
I thought so. I wasn't
I
sure.
love it.
All right, my man. Take care, buddy.
See you guys. Thanks for talking to me, Boyd.